after. Welcome to Jurassic World.
What's going on, everybody? This is Chris here, and welcome to another one of my movie reviews. In this review, I'm going to be reviewing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the fifth Jurassic Park movie and the follow-up to Jurassic World from a few years ago. I'm fresh out of seeing the movie, got my t-shirt, got my movie bill pamphlet that they gave out at the theater, a little collectible right here. Pretty nice cover, I like this. And the plot for this one is that there's a whole rescue mission to sort of rescue the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar, which is on a big volcano, and that volcano is about to blow up. And so Claire and Owen, they go in to sort of rescue the dinosaurs, but there's a whole behind-the-scenes military operation thing that's sort of like, not so good going on. And yeah, Jurassic Park sequels, they've been a mixed bag, really. Just speaking for Jurassic World, I know that movie, as its reception sort of varies between who you ask. I do like the movie. I thought it was a fun popcorn flick. Nothing too special, but I definitely thought it was the best out of the sequels. Definitely better than parts 2 and 3. For this one, I thought the trailers were pretty good, and I was looking forward to seeing it because overall, I do still like the franchise. And the cool thing about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is that this is the first Jurassic Park sequel that's really a real sequel or a real follow-up to its previous movie. Because all the other sequels have been sort of standalone adventures when you compare them to the previous installment. Like The Lost World was missing a whole lot of characters from Jurassic Park, mainly Alan and Ellie. So it didn't really feel like a true sequel. Then Jurassic Park 3 really didn't have anything to do with The Lost World. And then Jurassic World definitely didn't have anything to do with Jurassic Park 3. Here with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it's a definite follow-up to Jurassic World because we're bringing back the same human characters, mainly Owen and Claire. And look, those are played by Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. And look, those two as characters in the first one, it's not like they had a ton of development or depth or whatever, but they were likable characters, and you sort of enjoyed seeing them go on this adventure and dealing with all this crazy shit that was happening in Jurassic World. And I did still like them in this movie also. They're still fun characters to watch, even though, like I said, they don't have a lot of depth still, and that's a problem with this movie that I'll get to later on. But they are still good characters, well, good leads anyway, fun enough to be around. And yeah, it's really the first time that we've seen the major leads from a previous Jurassic Park movie come back for the sequel, the direct sequel. So that was cool to see. There's also some new human characters they got, mainly a couple of new kids or sort of scientist interns or whatever. Some of their stuff is funny. Some of their stuff isn't so much. I thought the stuff they did with the nerdy black guy, some of it was just like, I didn't really find to be too funny. There were some times I thought it was a little annoying. But overall, the characters weren't too bad. But, you know, the human characters in this one is not what you're going for. Another thing, there's a new little girl called Macy. She was all right. She's cool. Her sort of story involvement, it has some points where it's pretty good, other points where it's sort of eh. But like I said, human characters have definitely not been really the biggest strong suit when it's come to Jurassic World and this movie, specifically Fallen Kingdom. But speaking of characters, another thing that's really cool about the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is that now the dinosaurs were actually carrying over dinosaurs from the previous films. Or the previous film. So it actually feels like the dinosaurs are more characters also. Mainly the main one that we got to know well in Jurassic World is Blue. And sort of she gets development by way of flashbacks showing how Owen trained her and whatnot. And those scenes are just so damn cute. I mean, you've never seen raptors this adorable, and those scenes really are touching. You could tell the audience I was with, they were getting a real kick out of those scenes. And the sort of the relationship Blue has with these humans, it is really enjoyable to watch, and it's cool to see this dynamic after we saw Velociraptors just be like the ultimate villains in the first 3 Jurassic Park movies. So Blue is actually a really, really cool character, the way they use her. So that's cool. And other dinosaurs that we see as characters coming back is Rexy. Now Rexy was obviously that main dinosaur in Jurassic Park. and we did not see in the original Jurassic Park, and we didn't see her come again until she fought the Indominus Rex at the end of Jurassic World, which that was such a kick-ass fight scene. I love that fight scene so much. And Rexy, I think they figured out that people really do love Rexy. Mainly, she's the mascot for the franchise. And it's really cool the way they use her in this film. She gets a whole lot more screen time. She's got a lot more scenes. And it is cool because she is sort of that main dinosaur that we attach ourselves to. And every time she pops up, it's like, oh, that's Rexy. So that's really cool the way they used her in this one. And other than that, like the Mosasaurus that we saw from Jurassic World, it's got a scene that's really cool that I'm not going to spoil, but it's part of just a really like, oh my God, just really, good scene. So yeah, in this movie, you're going to get some of the good stuff that you got from previous Jurassic Park films, like the dinosaur action. When it's there, it's cool. The volcano set piece, I'd say, is really, really well done. It's pretty cool. It's pretty intense. The way they do it, all the chaos going around, it's nice. Some good horror stuff here and there. Some good parts where the dinosaurs have some personality. Owen, he's got some funny bits. I mean, Chris Pratt, he brings some good humor to that character. Chris Pratt is obviously really funny, really charismatic, so that's good. So yeah, through most of this movie, look, going into this movie, I had seen the reviews and saw that this one was sort of a mixed bag. I hadn't read too many details about it, but I was seeing that people were sort of like 50-50 on it. Slightly in the way of disappointment, but still like, it could go either way. And for me, when I was watching this film, personally, through most of it, I was all like, hey, I'm actually enjoying this one quite a bit. I'm thinking that for the most part, it is improving on Jurassic World. I don't know, maybe I just appreciated that it was a different story besides the fact that it was just another like, stuck on an island and black chaos movie. Even though this one was somewhat copying the plot of The Lost World, but just sort of better, I guess. But yeah, I was enjoying it for the most part. But then came sort of the philosophy I have when it comes to movies, and that I always do feel that your third act can really make or break your movie. And in this case, this was another case where a movie's sort of final act really did sort of sink the movie for me. Because I think a better name for this movie would have been Jurassic World Fallen Potential. Because that's what it felt like, man. Just the story potential just went out the window in this final act of the movie. I mean, the whole thing that was sort of teased throughout the movie is sort of this militarization of dinosaurs and sort of a deeper plot than what we've seen in the previous Jurassic Park films. And that's what I really wanted to see. I wanted to see them do something like really different. And it seemed like it was going in this direction. But man, the final act of this movie, really, to be honest, it's kind of a snooze fest to me, because the story potential just goes out the window and the movie just turns into just this giant chase. Just people running from dinosaurs, people just repeating the same mistakes we've seen in previous Jurassic Park films, characters making stupid decisions, villains go stale. It's just not good. And sort of the main sort of new dinosaur we get is the Indominaptor. It's sort of a new hybrid dinosaur that they create. These scientists just never learn. And yeah, it sort of takes over the second half of this film. And it is no Indominus Rex. The Indominus Rex was actually a pretty good villain when you go back and look at it. The way it just fucked with everybody, how smart it was, how clever it was, how much shit it just turned the park into chaos. The Indominaptor, it just feels like another poor attempt. It's just sort of like, well, we need just another like dino villain. Here's something. And it's just really not, I don't know. It just didn't work. This final act of the movie, I'm just not going to spoil what happens too much, but it's just so stale. It's so repetitive, just so not new. And it just killed all the story potential in this movie. When I say that, I just mean like when you get to this final act of the movie, the story just goes completely out the window and the characters along with it. And that was really disappointing to see, because I could just feel that I just had that feeling just like, oh no, this movie, it's just going downhill. And that was really disappointing to see, because I wanted to see a Jurassic Park movie that really went just like woof when it came to like story potential, because it was there. And I was really looking forward to seeing sort of them do something different. That was sort of teased at the end of Jurassic World. Seemed like they were going in that direction, but they just didn't try hard enough with sort of the way this movie ended. It really just ended up feeling like, just repeating some of the same stuff we've seen in previous Jurassic Park films, the same dino fights, and it just left me a little disappointed. Now, for the most part, I did enjoy this film. I know I ranted a lot within the last few minutes just because I thought the final like maybe 30 minutes of this movie or so was quite disappointing. But there was a whole lot to enjoy. There were a lot of fun bits. I did enjoy Owen and Claire. There was some decent humor here and there. I think Jurassic World overall was still funnier. And like I said, some good action. But overall, it's just the way this movie sort of squandered its story potential. It did leave me disappointed. But there was still a lot that I did enjoy. I definitely didn't hate this movie. Just by the end of it, I was like, So I was debating my score. I think I'm still going to go with a 6 out of 10. Decent movie, I think, but just decent. Really nothing special. Worth seeing on the big screen, I guess, just because there is some fun, just sort of big scale stuff to see. But there was just like not, there wasn't enough. I wanted to see this be, I really wanted to see this be like a big improvement from Jurassic World, which I did like, but I just wanted to see something more. And this movie just sort of squandered it, in my opinion. I didn't want to believe the reviews, but the reviews ended up being right. And I'm not someone who's really swayed by reviews. I go in and I make my own judgment. And for the most part of this movie, it was proving me wrong until we got to that final bit of really 30 minutes, and I was just like, yeah, not so great this one. So yeah, 6 out of 10. In terms of ranking the Jurassic Park movies, the original Jurassic Park is by far the best. By far the best. Then we come to Jurassic World, which isn't close to Jurassic Park, but I still think is a pretty solid movie. Then it gets tricky because because on the drive home I'm thinking, is this better than Jurassic Park? Because I go Jurassic Park 3, then The Lost World is the last one. I was debating, is this better or worse than Jurassic Park 3? I would say that it's still. I would give it the edge over Jurassic Park 3, just because this one, it did try harder in some parts, where Jurassic Park 3 really was just sort of like let's just have some random adventure and just go with it. This one at least did try to do some cool stuff, just not enough in some parts, but overall still decent stuff. And with the way, I will say with the way this ends, it is going to be a very curious situation how Jurassic World 3 is going to go. Hopefully they can wrap up this trilogy in a cool way, just because the way this ends, it does make you look like, whoa, how the hell are they going to deal with all this shit in the next one? So that'll be interesting to see. Even though the whole genesis for this isn't a spoiler, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. There's a decision that's made at the end of this movie by a certain character that is just like, why? Why would you do this? If you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a quick tease for you if you have not seen it. But anyways, that's enough rambling from me. Hope y'all enjoyed this review. And I'll see y'all around with another video.